Now I come to Johnson Control, and I'm working through a temp agency, and I finally get hired on full time, and I'm happy about that. I'm excited. I say, great, you know, vacation starts, insurance kicks in, and I say, it's time for me to go see my doctor. You know, it's been about a year now. It's time for that annual, you know, checkup. So I go in, make the appointment. They see me right away. And I say, I've got a new insurance card, got a new job, new telephone number, blah, 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 blah. Get in there, and I'm 41 years old. So it's time to go through all those things. And she says, it's time to take your mammogram. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm ready to do that. You know, I'm just so healthy. You know, I've been, you know, working out, you know, exercising here in the house. And I loved the way my body was looking. I felt great. I had all the energy in the world. So I said, yeah, let's do this. Let's just, you know, check those marks off on the chart. Felicia is healthy. And, well, what ended up happening was I did the mammogram. And probably about a couple of weeks later, in the same month, it was time for me to go on my vacation. So I had a week vacation. And while I was on my vacation, I got a letter in the mail from the clinic. I said, oh, it's, you know, just one of those little complimentary letters that says thank you for your services. If you know, rate us from a 1 to 5, did we do a good job on your visit? So I kind of put it down, and I said, I'll get to it later. Well, then I get a telephone call, and I missed the telephone call, and I said, oh, it's from the clinic. They're so nice. They're really, you know, checking up on me. And I'm thinking, this is great customer service. I'm coming out of the medical field, so I'm thinking, this is wonderful. Well, get another phone call, and I happen to catch it. I say, hi, and they're telling me, you know, you came here and you had your mammogram. I said, yes, I did. Everything was wonderful. Well, we need you to come back in and repeat that. Not a problem. Somebody messed up. You can't really see it. You know, no big deal. I'll come right back there. What time? I can come tomorrow. But she goes to tell me, no, you're going to go to a different office. And they said they saw something suspicious that they needed to look at on a larger x-ray screen, or because it comes out like x-ray would. And so they want to magnify it larger. So I said, not a problem. So I go the next day, and the woman says to me, when you're finished, and I'm thinking, you know, I'll finish, you guys will call me in a week or whatever and tell me the results. She says, when you're finished, I'm going to talk to you because we're going to have the results. So I'm thinking, wow, this is fast, you know. And I go and I have this mammogram, and then she pulls me into her office, and she has this humongous, it looks like an x-ray form, and it's of my breast, and I see all these little dots, little white dots in it, and she's explaining to me what it is that we're looking at. Well, I see white dots all over, and I'm thinking, I don't really see much. And she says, this is the area of concern. And she just kind of goes right into it. We're trying to rule out cancer. That's what this is all about. I said, I understand. I said, do you think it could be some scar tissue? I did have a surgery years ago. I had a little bump, and they just cut it right on out. It was nothing, just a little cyst. She says, that's what we're going to find out. I said, okay, no problem. So I get set up for a biopsy, which I knew was the next procedure. And once again, she says, you know, we're going to get the results to you pretty fast. She says, we get the results in about 2 days, you know, so please keep your phone on, or I can call you, make sure you're in a private area when the phone call does come through. Well, I get a call exactly 23 hours later that I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
Hello, my name is Summer Smith, also known as Stax from VH1 For the Love of Ray J, and you're watching AMPS TV.
Well, when she called and said, you have the most common type of breast cancer, I'm on the phone, and I've got this smile on my face thinking, we caught it. You know, I just had the mammogram earlier in the month, and we just got this biopsy done. So we're just going to do a lumpectomy, stick a little needle in there, pair of scissors or something, and cut it out, and I'm going to go on about my merry little way. Well, as she's talking to me, she goes in to say things like that. You have the choice of a lumpectomy. She said, however, some women will get a mastectomy. And as I hear her say the word mastectomy, I'm thinking, well, we're not even going that far. It's. And then she says, but some women choose to get a double mastectomy. And I'm thinking, why are we even talking about this? It's not that bad. We just found out, So after the phone call, she asked, well, prior to the phone call being ended, she asked, do you have a doctor? Well, who has a cancer doctor lying around? No, I don't. And she says, well, we can help you. I said, well, yes, I'll take your help. And she says, we can get you set up with an appointment, by the end of the week. And you'll be able to see that doctor. And just so you know, a lot of times they're ready to, take you into the OR within a week. I said, okay, great. Yeah, we'll get this all done. And I'm, go right back to work. Well, when we hung up the phone, I said, she said all that for a reason. She's not talking about mastectomies and double mastectomies. I mean, she's the director of this clinic. She sees this. This is what she does for a living. So she knew what she was seeing when we sat in that office, and she's telling me this for a reason. Well, my family knew. I have 3 brothers, and my mother and father knew that I was going for this biopsy, and I said, I'll call you guys. Well, the first thing I did was I get on the phone and I call my parents and I put them on speakerphone. I said, put me on speaker. And I said, well, you know what? I got the results back from the biopsy. And I hear them saying, okay, great, wonderful. And my mom says, so great, everything came out okay, right? And I say, well, no, I was diagnosed with breast cancer today. And I literally hear both of my parents gasp for air over the phone.
Wow.
It was like through the phone, it just went dead silent. It was like I could hear their hearts breaking.
Wow.
And that's what got me, their reaction.
I'll be the first to say I'm not perfect. And sometimes life will hold you hostage to your own ambitions. And some of these haters will make you want to go off on them. But you gotta keep holding on. Sometimes
And I went through the whole thing where, you know what, we caught it early. Has anyone else in the family had breast cancer? And this was one of the tests that they wanted to perform on me to find out if this was passed on to me or am I the first one to get it. And after talking to my parents, I called my brothers, and they took it hard. It wasn't easy for them. And I had to sit back and think, you know, I'm their only sister. And for them to get news like that had to have been hard. Because when you just hear the word cancer, it's associated with death.
It's a curse word.
It is, you know? And I always associated cancer, you're going to die. It's only a matter of time. But I learned that, you know, we don't have to die with cancer, and we don't have to die with breast cancer. So after being diagnosed with breast cancer and being able to tell my family about it, I actually went to the movies. I didn't even come home. I went to the movies and I watched the movie. And of course there were some phone calls coming through, and I had my phone off because I was in the movies, but people didn't know I went to the movies, so they're thinking, oh no, you know, she's over there panicking and you know, please call us. And so I get out of the movies, I see all these missed calls. I think, I'm okay, I just went to the movies. But it really didn't hit me until maybe about 3 days later after the biopsy. And around that time we were having the Olympics, and that young lady, Gabrielle, she was doing such a wonderful job. And I remember they had set me up for an appointment for an MRI and some blood work. And this was the special test that they were doing to find out if this was hereditary. And I left that appointment, and I would say this, like I said, this is when it hit me, because I finally could say this was the first bad day that I had. I was driving, and I was supposed to go to work. And I called in and I said, you know, I just can't make it in. My employer was just wonderful. They said, if you're, with what you're going through, if you find out that you can't come to work, please call us, let us know. And I said, this is the day I'm having a bad day. I just left the doctor. And so I went to a local restaurant. I said, I'm just going to grab me a bite to eat. And I'm watching the Olympics. It's all over the television. And I'm watching this young lady. She's just so phenomenal. And I'm just thinking to myself, why me? How did this happen to me? I took such good care of myself. I was eating right. I don't drink. I drink occasionally, but you know, I was not an indulger of alcohol. Don't smoke at all. I just don't do it. I never participated in any types of drugs or promiscuity. I was just a very healthy person. And I always felt good. So I couldn't quite understand why me. And so that was the day that I had my first cry. I was in the restaurant. And it really didn't help, because when they brought out my food, it was cold. So I asked them, can you take it back? Then when they brought it back, it was too greasy. So I asked for something totally different. I said, just bring me a steak. And the steak wasn't even cooked well. So I actually left that restaurant and went to a Mexican restaurant and had nachos. You kind of want to say, I just got diagnosed with cancer, and then you bring me this greasy lasagna and then a steak that's not cooked right, and I got to leave here and go pay more money for some nachos. But that's life, you know, that's how it happens. It kind of rains on us like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And to get back up, it was the way I went into it. I looked into this and I said, you know, Felicia, you've just come out of the medical field. You know that, yes, they're going to have to operate on you, because I was told you have to have surgery. You don't have a choice. So it was not about having chemotherapy or radiation. It was like, you have to have surgery. So I said, you know what you got to do. You're going to go in it with a smile on your face. They're going to cut that cancer right out of you. And you're going to go right back to the things that you've been doing, exercising, working out, and, trying to encourage people to be healthy. Because that's what was going on in my life. I was at work, and a couple of the ladies and I were getting together. We were working out, and I was invited to run a 5K race. I had never done that before. I did this 1 week before my surgery. I ran my first 5K race in 37 minutes. Yay! And that's what I did. But here's the key, thinking about what I had to do to pick myself back up, because I had the surgery exactly 1 month after my diagnosis. That surgery, you men always say, I look up to women because you guys can give birth. I don't know, that's one of the most difficult things a woman could do, is give birth. And it's not. Having your chest cut open is one of the worst pains. It's worse than childbirth. I've given birth to 2 children, and they were miracles, and they were wonderful. Going through a surgery like that is horrible. It really is. And I remember waking up, and the pain that I felt, it felt like I woke up just to have a heart attack and die. That's how painful it was. I had my mother there, my sons were there. I even had some coworkers come to visit me. My job was just phenomenal. They did a fundraiser, and they brought me a bucket full of money and some new bras. So everything had settled down, and I'm here at the home, and my mother has to go back to Texas, and so I'm left here to recover on my own. And this is where the pick-me-up came in, because it just wasn't in me to feel sorry for myself. This was a situation where you easily can. Because one of the things that was attacked was not just my body physically with cancer, but cancer also attacked my finances. It attacked my emotions, in addition to attacking my body physically. So I had to deal with, the concerns of putting food on the table, putting gas in the car, paying for the pain medicine that's prescribed me, and just paying the rent. These things go through your mind, and you wonder, how can I do this? But at the same time, you're saying, I don't want to stress myself out thinking about this when I need to get healthy and get right back up doing the things that I need to do. Now, after the surgery was done, I knew I got a couple more surgeries, because I went into immediate reconstruction. So what they did was, when they did the double mastectomy, they put in implants, which were called tissue expanders. So every week I would go see my doctor, and he would inject saline into these tissue expanders to stretch out my chest, because it was flat, so that I could get the size of the implants that I would be getting later on in the year. So, of course, Facebook became my new boyfriend. And, I'd get on there and I'd type, and I said, you know what, I'm going to use Facebook. I see people put all kinds of things, they talk about what they did, and I said, I'm going to let everybody go through this journey with me. And one day I went to my doctor's appointment. I had such a wonderful appointment, and I felt so good. And I came back and I said, everything's going good. The tissue expanders are going great. I'm going to start a page. So I'm on Facebook fooling around, and I created a page called Stump the Pain. And that's the pain I was talking about, the financial pain, the physical pain, the emotional pain that cancer takes you through. And I said, we need to stomp that pain out. And on that page, I started putting up what I was going through. Why your doctor prescribes you this type of medicine when you come home from the hospital. How to read your pathology report. What do those numbers mean? Why did your doctor choose chemotherapy for some and why not some, for others? These were the things that I was putting on the page because I said the goal is to educate people and make them aware, because I went into this with very little knowledge. My line of work was orthopedics. So I had a little bit of knowledge, but not as much. And it would have been nice if someone could have said, expect this, expect that, I was in this house, it's hard to bathe. It's hard to just walk from the bed to the bathroom. And that was one of the things that I dreaded when I first got home. I said, I don't want to go to the bathroom because it was too hard to get up. It was too difficult to roll over. I had to sleep on my back for months. And I usually sleep on my belly. So I had back pain now. In addition to, recovering from such a painful surgery, now my back is killing me. My shoulders are hurting me. And, you're trying to prop pillows up and you can only move so far and so fast. And dreading going to the bathroom, I hated dreading if that doorbell rang because I was like, I'm not going to make it. They're going to walk away. But I realized that I wasn't going to feel sorry for myself. I just didn't want to. It didn't make sense to. Why? I want to get back out there. I want to do things. I want to continue to live my life. So I was on Facebook. I would put little inspirational things. I'd find little pictures. I'd post little songs from YouTube and just talk about how good of a day that I was having. Now, I was having some bad days here. I didn't have very many. I could probably count on one hand how many bad days I had, but the best part about it was my friends and family knew what I was going through. They welcomed me to call when I needed to call, and they were there on those days that I called. And that was a big help. But they kept telling me, you're inspiring us. What am I inspiring you to do? All I'm trying to inspire you to do is to eat right, get rid of the pork, okay, and exercise because your body is worth it. That's all I'm trying to inspire people to do. But a lot of people seem to be really inspired through what I was going through. So you're invited to put pictures. I like to do shout outs to people. So if you have a family member that you want me to pray for, the Facebook family to pray for, you can do a shout. And I don't just do shout outs for people who have cancer. I do shout outs for people who are doing good things in life. I have a friend who loves to work out, and every day he goes to the gym and he puts his posting on there. And I say, you know what? That's remarkable, because we need to recognize that. When people are doing good, we need to recognize that. So I did a shout out to him. His name is DeJuan McDowell. DeJuan, another shout out to you, okay, for hanging in there again. And I do shout outs like that on my page. And like I said, I put up songs to inspire you, because a song inspired me at one point. It's Taylor Swift.
Okay.
It's that little song, We Are Never Getting Back Together. That's the one. I was having that little conversation with cancer. Okay, look, you ain't my boyfriend no more. We are not getting back together, ever. Thank you, Taylor Swift. That's the key. And here we go back to that elementary education again. I guess it never left me, because the goal was to get out there and educate people. That's the key. As we get older, we really need to know what's going on with our bodies. We can't be afraid to go to the hospitals. You would not believe how many women told me, after seeing what I went through and watching me recover, and still to this day will say, I'm scared to get a mammogram. I just don't want to hear the words cancer. I went to physical therapy. I tell my doctor, I say, listen, I'm having all this back pain and shoulder pain. Can I get a massage? Can you write a prescription for it? Well, yeah, if you go to a physical therapist or a chiropractor. So I go to physical therapy, and it's new for them. I say, listen, I'm here because I've had a double mastectomy and I need a massage every week. And they look at me kind of crazily like, what? How did your insurance pay for that? It's not really that I needed a massage. I said, but it's affecting the way I'm able to reach up into the cabinets, for a glass. So I'm needing some additional help here. And so they got a little program that they put me through. And it was kind of new for them. So they're like, hey, we think we can work this out and maybe get more patients like you in here. Well, one of the physical therapists that was helping me got to talking, and he said, I've been trying to get my wife to go see her doctor and get that, and she just won't do it. And she's afraid. And I said, well, you really got to encourage your wife to go ahead and get that mammogram. I said, now, let me ask you a question. Doesn't she go to get her annual exam with her OBGYN? He says, oh, yeah, she's faithful with that. I said, well, did you know that they were checking for cervical cancer? And he said, no. I said, she probably doesn't know that either. As women, we grew up from teenage years having that annual appointment, that pap smear, and thinking this is just normal, not really knowing what were they checking for. We don't ask anymore. We just know it's time to get a pap smear. I think maybe some people may take for granted and think, oh, well, we're checking for sexually transmitted diseases or anything. No, they're checking for cervical cancer. So if you're checking for cervical cancer every year, when you hit 40, why not find out if you're clear of breast cancer? Because the thing is this, how are you going to fight it if you don't know it exists? And if it does show up, you surely don't want to fight it when it's too late. I'm finally getting to the ends of my surgical procedures. I've got like 2 more surgeries to go. All right. And I'm finally getting the okay from my doctor to go back into the gym. So I'm on the treadmill and I see a young lady there. I'd seen it before in the past. And I speak to her, I say, hey, long time no see. And she says, hi. She says, what do you do to get your abs like that? Now this woman literally looks like Serena Williams.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And she's asking me, how did I get my stomach like this? And I'm like, how did you get to looking like that? Well, we get to talking, and I tell her, I said, well, I've been out, I've had surgery, that's why you haven't seen me, and I've just been in the house, trying to watch my diet because I knew I had other surgeries coming up, and I wanted to be healthy for those surgeries. It wasn't necessarily trying to keep my weight down, or I just knew going into surgery, you have to be very healthy. I didn't want, my blood numbers off, or my cholesterol, or any of those things to be off whack. So I said, stay healthy. Well, as she and I are talking, she tells me about this competition that she entered in, and she won it. And she says, you can do it, Felicia. You already have the discipline to come in here on your own and work out. And she says, look at your body. She says, I'm telling you, you got to do this. And I said, well, give me the number of the person that's helping you out. I'll give them a call. Well, I did give her trainer a call, and after speaking with her trainer, I had decided, I really do want to do something like this. I'm now 42 years old, and I don't want to go through life saying, I wonder what it would have been like if I had done that. Well, I had already done a 5K race. And I felt really great about that. So I said, well, I'm going to go for it. This may be a once-in-a-lifetime thing. This is my bucket list item. Well, when the summer went by, I maintained that weight, and it was time to give the trainer a call and get set up on that program. And I went through 8 weeks of training, and I loved it. There was some weight training. I did what was called the Bikini division. So, they just wanted to look good in the bikini. Well, kind of like the Miss America type thing. But I did do some weight training. Eating, that was the killer. It got to the point where I didn't look forward to eating because it just didn't taste good. I was eating rice cakes with peanut butter. I was eating lots of chicken and fish, but there's no dressings, there's no salt, there's no pepper. It's just stick it in the oven, take it out and eat it. It's very bland. Salads, green vegetables, water, protein shakes. And I ate the same diet every day for 8 weeks. It didn't change. I actually had to email her and say, well, I have the list of things you want me to eat, but it's same breakfast, lunch, dinner every day for 8 weeks. And yeah, that's what I ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Oatmeal for breakfast with protein powder mixed in it. Chicken or fish for lunch. Non-fat Greek yogurt. You may as well just eat sour cream. But I was able to go ahead and perform, and I performed in what is called the Tricky Jackson Classic. It was held here in Lexington, Kentucky in October, and I came in 4th place, which was good because the goal was to make top 5, and I made 4th place. And that was in the Masters division. So Masters division is anyone 35 and up. Then the overall division is any age group. Now these girls look good. And there was about 52 contestants, and I made top 10.
Wow.
I came in number 8.
Wow.
And it was my first competition. So I was very proud of myself. And I have to tell you something. These women work hard. These women, I went back there and I literally said, none of us are losers by far, because I knew what it took for me to get to that level. And I'm looking at these phenomenal bodies, and I'm like, I know exactly what they went through to get here. And they're all just simply winners. So the pictures that you're seeing on Facebook in that apple green bikini is the Tricky Jackson Classic that I just did. I was so happy to eat.
Real food.
Oh my goodness, I went straight to IHOP. And I had me a hot chocolate with whipped cream on it. I can't remember what I had for dinner, but I know I ate some food that night.
Wow.
But what I have done was I've incorporated some of that diet in, so I still eat the rice cakes and peanut butter and the non-fat Greek yogurt, because now I'm addicted to it. I still eat lots of chicken and fish, but I get some spaghetti and some dessert, because I wasn't even having any dessert. I did so well. My trainer said, you got to take a cheat meal. You're doing so good. Just go and eat a lot of fatty stuff. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, eat a lot of fatty foods. Just one time you get to do this. And then we're right back on that diet come first thing Monday. So, if you follow your trainer's advice, you're going to do very well. I just had surgery last week. We're at the end now. Part of having a double mastectomy is putting the body back together. So last year, some of the surgeries were doing the tissue expansion, and then the tissue expanders come out, and that's another surgical procedure, and then the actual implants go into the body. After the body has healed and the scars healed, and numerous doctor's appointments, the last step is to do what is called a nipple reconstruction. And that is what I have had done a week ago. I've had a nipple reconstruction where what the doctor does is, where I have none, he creates a nipple by cutting a little triangular flaps, and he just flaps them over to make a circle and a nipple. And then after he's done making the nipple, he actually takes ink and he has to tattoo an areola onto the body, so you get the appearance of what a nipple is supposed to look like. And so that's what I have just done. And I had my doctor's appointment yesterday, my first follow-up with him, and everything looks wonderful. It looks phenomenal. So I'll just continue to, recover from that. The sutures will fall out and they'll dissolve. And, just hopefully, over the next month, I'll not look like a mannequin anymore. And it's all what you tell yourself mentally. This is what this is all about. You go into it positively, you're going to come out with some positive results. If you say to yourself, I'm not going to sit here and let this bring me down, it won't. Because those bad days are there. They're going to surface, and there's nothing you can do about it. No matter how positive you are in life, when that moment comes and it just overcomes you and you go through those thoughts, why me? I did everything I could to prevent this. All of that hits you. You have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to get my cry out, because this is that moment. That's the time nobody picks up their phone, okay, when you're having those days you really need to talk to somebody. And you got to go through it. And sometimes you have to go through it by yourself. And that's why it's how you go into this, what you tell yourself. And everything was about what I told myself. I wanted to tell myself good things. I wanted to believe I'm going to beat cancer. And I'm going to tell you, I had some nasty conversations with cancer. Me in that mirror. Okay. We had some nasty conversations.
You got a little crazy for a minute.
Talking to the mirror. Okay. But it's therapeutic. You got to get those emotions out. You got to, they know the saying, you talk, just don't answer yourself back. Okay. And I did. I got my phone, I hit record, and I started talking to cancer. I told him how much I hate him. I said, you did not have the right to come into my life because I did not invite you. You are an uninvited guest, and I'm kicking you out. I don't want you back in my life anymore. This is what you did to me. And I am now left to fix what you've done. But guess what? I am going to fix it. You're not going to win. And if you think you're going to come back, you got another thing coming, because I'm going to be here again. And we're going to go toe to toe if you come back. And those are the things that I had to say to myself to get through those really bad moments. And I did. I got through it. You are the one who's responsible for being positive in your life. You can't leave it up to anyone else to bring that positive energy to you. It's wonderful to have a support system if you do, but you're the one that's in control of your life. You're the one that's in control of your thoughts. So you put yourself around positive people, and it doesn't have to be a big circle of people. It could be just a small group of people, 1 or 2 people, or just family, or even if it's just you and your doctor. You surround yourself with those that are going to encourage you. Do whatever it takes. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You got to know that you're going to come out a winner, because you can. And if you're afraid to, don't be. You can't be afraid. You want to be healthy. You want to live your life as long as you possibly can. And you can't do that if you don't know what's going on with your body. I was asymptomatic. I had no symptoms whatsoever. There are some women that do get the symptoms, so they're in a situation where they're prompted to go see their doctor to say, hey, why is this happening? What's going on here? But when you find yourself like me, asymptomatic, nothing's happening, you're at the pinnacle of your life, you're with your health, and then you get a diagnosis like that, don't be afraid to go to your doctors. Go. You feel so much better knowing I got a clean bill of health. And even if you don't, you can fight it a heck of a lot sooner, because that's what the Dream Team is trying to do. You see all these organizations saying, donate to cancer, donate to cancer. And I'm going to tell you something. Before I was diagnosed with cancer, I would see these things and I would really say, you know what, why are we donating all of our money to cancer? Because you can't cure it. You can only treat it. We're going to have cancer. People are going to be told, you now have cancer, and all we can do is treat it. So I'm not donating my money to cancer. So I really didn't get into donating to these types of foundations because you got hospitals and you got billionaires and millionaires. They do those types of things. I'm the poor person here. I need every dime I can get. Well, when I got diagnosed with cancer, I started doing my research, and I wanted to know, what are you guys doing? And the Dream Team, what they're doing is they're finding ways to treat us faster. They're finding ways to allow us to have less chemotherapy and radiation treatments. They're finding ways to treat children who are born with cancer. They're finding ways to allow us to live longer. So that's where that money is going to. And they are making phenomenal strides with the money and the research that they're doing. And so now I see that it is definitely worth it. So whatever organization you want to donate to, if it's for cancer, or if it's for diabetes or autism, or if it's for healthy heart, whatever organization you want to donate to, know that they are coming a long way in helping us live longer lives. Hi, my name is Felicia Smith, and I am a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with cancer on July 18th, 2012. I immediately went in and had a double mastectomy on August 24th of 2012. I sit here before you today, 1 year cancer-free.
Okay.